Hey, it's JD. Hi, everyone. It's me, your host, HannahAaronBrown. Welcome back to a brand new episode of Not Aspirational. I'm so happy to be back here with y'all. It has been such a fun few weeks on the pod, having all of our amazing guests. Oh my gosh, how incredible are Tess and Claire from Right Answers Mostly. I love them. That conversation was so fun, and thank you all for your sweet messages about it. Before I get into the episode today's going to be like a little pop culture catch up and then a birthday recap, if you don't mind indulging me. Before I get into that though, I recently guested on D is for Drama, hosted by friend of the pod, Shannon D. And that was a super special and fun appearance because I got to go on with Jake. So we got to talk about like a chaotic fight we got into in Napa and then talk about like jealousy and relationships. And it was so fun. And D is for Drama is one of my favorite podcasts. So you need to check it out. And also, if you haven't listened to me on Everything Iconic lately, Dan and I are still in the process of recapping this season of And Just Like That. And it is so unhinged and so fun. And check it out. Everything's going to be linked in the show notes for you. So if you want to listen to me on other shows, if you can't get enough of this raspy Luann voice, this Countess Luann voice, I'm super raspy after my birthday weekend. If you can't get enough of that voice, though, this voice, check me out on those shows. Okay, we're going to start with pop culture, then we're going to get into the birthday recap. I have so many things to say, much to discuss. First and foremost, Jake and I got back into watching HGTV. I know I am 34 now and I am showing it, but have you ever seen those TikToks where it's like millennial parents being like, showing my kids shows that I grew up on and now their attention span is better and they're a lot calmer. Like they'll show their kids like Rupert or like Arthur or Busy World of Richard Scarry, you know, some of those niche shows we grew up on. And it's like, my kid's so much calmer now. That's how Jake and I feel when we watch HGTV, because deep in the pandemic, when we were like real depressed and like down bad crying at the gym, we watched so much HGTV. And Jake's mom, when we were in Kansas City, was like, you have to watch Rock the Block. The last season was so crazy. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but you need to watch it. And I was like, okay. And we put it on and it really was just like a soothing balm for my brain. So if you're having a stressy girl summer, might I recommend taking to HGTV and just watching people make mediocre houses. It is truly the best. Also, we finally got a release date for Stranger Things. Ugh, it's going to be a holiday release, you guys. Okay, it's going to be part 1 on Thanksgiving and I think part 2 on Christmas, which is annoying. I just don't really appreciate it. I feel like Stranger Things is to be binged in the summertime. It is a summer show. And I spoke out of turn recently when I was on a podcast. I was like, it's going to be Stranger Things summer. I was wrong. It's going to be a Stranger Things winter. And who the fuck wants that? I don't. Okay, I don't. And I'm disappointed. But God almighty, do I love me some Steve Harrington. I have to tell you. He is a hot piece of ass. One time I saw Joe Keery at the airport at like 4 a.m. We were in the Delta line together. I'm going to blow up his spot. That day he was flying Delta. And he had sunglasses on inside. And he like looked so famous. I was like, you're not doing yourself any favors if you're trying to blend in at 4 a.m. wearing sunglasses inside. But it was just me and him in the line. And it was everything I could do not to tap him on the shoulder and say, hey, Steve Harrington, I love your work. And I love your hair. And I love your face. Anyways, I'm excited for that. Something to look forward to this winter. But I do think the rollout of the season is just, it's not what I would like. It's not what I would like. This is the most random notes app ever. I also feel like I'm coming at you all from a chaotic place because you know when like you've been looking forward to something for so long and then it's over and you're kind of just like trying to get back in your healthy routines, trying to get back on track. And like, mind you, I've been in a place of just festive party mode since my college reunion, like for over a month now. That was like June 20th. It's the end of July now. Between my college reunion, going to Kansas City for the 4th, and then my birthday, it's just been like a month-long bender. And I feel like so grateful to just be settling back in. But that said, I have no voice. I feel so disorganized. I feel extra all over the place today. So again, thank you for indulging me. Thank you for bearing with me. But this next note in my notes app is peak random, okay? I was on a walk the other day and I saw this guy walking towards me in the distance, okay? He was like an older, bald white man, and he was wearing a t-shirt that was like flesh colored, and it blended in with his skin. And I just need you all to know how shocking and quite literally unsettling and confusing and like A24 it was to see this figure walking towards me in what looked like it looked like he was shirtless from afar, but had no features, like no hair, no nipples, no belly button, like Kyle XY. And it was so unsettling. And then the closer he got to me, I saw he was wearing just a flesh colored t-shirt that literally blended in with his body. And it was the spookiest thing I had ever seen. And I was like, this is so A24, so unsettling. I have to tell people about this. There was one time I was at Disneyland and my friend Claire Linick, shout out. I am first and last naming them because this was a very funny thing they said. We saw Bo Peep and Woody like signing autographs for kids at Disneyland. And they got really unsettled because Bo Peep was wearing flesh-colored socks, and they were like, oh my God, look at Bo Peep's flesh socks. That is so unsettling. And I really think we need to just talk more often about how flesh-colored clothing is unsettling because it's like an optical illusion. It's like, what? It's like you have to like rub your eyes. You're like, what am I looking at? My brain can't make heads or tails over what's fabric and what's flesh, and I do not like that. I do not like that at all. I don't even really like it with like tights. But unless it's like a Hooters colored tight where it just makes your legs look really smooth and tan, like I'm down for that. But like in general, if I can't tell what's fabric and what's flesh, I don't think I like that. And I think there's a difference between like a mesh garment where it's like, clearly this is a mesh garment. You're supposed to see through it. Like obviously I'm not talking shit about like Britney's iconic, actually no, she wasn't wearing a flesh colored suit in the Toxic video. She was fully nude and covered in gems. Sorry, I'm working this out in real time. Obviously, I'm not talking shit about like nude illusions, like ice skating uniforms. That's not what I'm talking about. Or like Dancing with the Stars costumes. Those are like sexy. Like when it's like flesh colored, but like covered in gems and it's like nude illusions. I'm talking about like a t-shirt that blends in with your skin or like socks that blend in with your skin. I think we need to abolish that. I've been talking about this for over 2 minutes now. I have to move on. Okay, I'm catching up on the summer I turned pretty and gotta tell you, I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like what I'm seeing. I will say, when Connie Baby, because Team Conrad forever, obviously, when Connie Baby showed up at the house in Cousins in the dead of winter with a long pea coat on and a little candy cane poking out of his perfect pouty lips, I said, oh my, I said, ah! I said, wow. If I were Belly, I'd be like, Jeremiah who? Jeremiah where? And I'm already like that. I really fucking can't stand Jeremiah. I think he looks like a White Walker. I think he's annoying. I think he's a tryhard. And I just don't like it. And the audacity, spoiler alert, Summer I Turned Pretty, spoilers ahead. You've been warned. The audacity of this man to cheat on Belly, who not only could pull anyone, but pulled his hotter piece of ass older brother, Conrad. You've got to be How dare you? How dare you? I need to take a sip. My podcast drink du jour is a cold brew with the Chobani birthday cake flavor. Yeah, it does taste like dessert. I don't see the fucking problem. So yeah, the audacity of Jeremiah to cheat on Belly, disgusting. And the audacity of Belly to take his ass back while she is outside the hospital after her brother got into a car accident and then accept his proposal without a ring. And then he gives her some like whack ass ring. I was just like, I can't do this. I grow tired. And then we have Connie Baby, who's like struggling at med school, but like he's still at med school. Heart of gold, sweetheart, angel baby, no notes. And if Belly ends up choosing Jeremiah's White Walker ass, I'm not going to come back from that. I'm going to be like, thanks for nothing, Jenny Han. Thanks for nothing. Thanks for wasting years of my life, hours of my emotional energy and bandwidth and mental capacity shipping Belly and Conrad when she's just going to end up with Jeremiah's ass. Also, there are exceptions to every rule, okay? I know couples, close friends of mine, who met in college, and they are very much in love to this day, and they have beautiful families, and I love and support them. But I've said this before, I'll say it again. Everything's okay when my friends do it. If someone I don't like does it, I'm like, So with that said, Belly and Jeremiah are giving like very like Utah Mormon energy with their college engagement. And I just don't ship it, don't like it, don't trust it. And I said what I said, and I said what I said. Okay, another piece of pop culture news. Jax is not coming back to the Valley. I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. First of all, like, I did see today that Britney literally got a brand deal with Tums over the fact that she has chronic heartburn because she is a functioning alcoholic. And to that I say, Britney, get your bag. You know, I'm repelled by Britney Cartwright. I'm repelled by everything she is. But if you're going to get your bag doing something toxic that you would be doing for free anyway, like, go for it. You have a child, you have a mouth to feed, you're a single mother now. Do your fucking thing. But I do think it's hilarious that she has been able to fold tequila and buffalo wings and beer cheese into her personal brand. And I don't know if I should be judging that, because it's like, who am I to say shit? You know, it's like my personal brand is like Fly by Jing, Diet Coke, Chobani, and alcohol of all kinds. So I really should not throw stones at glass houses. But again, I'm just kind of repelled by Britney's personality. That said, I worry about Jax not coming back, because he brought a certain darkness that we need on Bravo, y'all. Like, I'm not proud to say it, okay? I'm not proud to be like, when Brooks faked cancer, that was incredible television. When Taylor's ex-husband Russell was like rustling, that was like, unfortunately, tragically, incredible television. When we see things we should not be seeing on these shows, that's when they are at their best. I hate to say it. I'm sorry, okay? When Mario was blatantly not into Ramona and she was like rubbing him down with massage oils and he literally hated her ass. I love it, okay? So Jax leaving, give me a break. Grow up, Bravo. Bring him back. I need to hate on him. He's so toxic, so he should be on our TV. Also, he dissolved his partnership with Rocco's, and therefore his bar Jax's is done, no longer. So for those of you who don't know, who like haven't visited Jax's IRL, Jax's is not like a freestanding bar. It's attached to Rocco's, which they have a few locations throughout LA. It's like a chain bar and restaurant. So Jax's is literally just like a patio and then like a tiny slice of a bar inside. And the fact that it didn't work out and that it's like not a thing anymore does not shock me, especially with Jax not coming back to the show. Also, when I saw Jax there, I said this, he was like such a miserable wretch. He clearly just like only wanted a bar so that he could like fuck women who weren't his wife and like abuse substances. So it's like, yeah, duh, you don't have any work ethic. You don't actually give a shit about like hospitality or being a good restaurant owner. So like, of course this crashed and burned, you fucking dummy. Also, for the most part, the food was kind of disgusting. But that said, it was kind of nice to have a Bravo bar on my side of the hill as someone who lives in the Valley. So hopefully Britney gets some sort of deal soon and I can go there. And yeah, am I ragging on these people? Yeah. Does that mean I'm not going to like be a patron of their businesses? Absolutely not. You know, we contain multitudes. If I can see Bravo people in the wild once in a blue moon just for a little thrill, little hit of chaos, why wouldn't I, you know? And you would too. Next, I went to Costco for the first time recently, and this is not lovely to say. It's not lovely to say. I hated every second. I hated every fucking second. And yes, I believe my mom and my stepdad were Sam's Club people. I never went with. And I am honestly triggered by a Sam's Club or a Costco because my mom and stepdad would buy so much fucking food that went to waste. They would get like produce in bulk from those places and it would go bad and like our fridge would be disgusting. Not to like trauma dump on you guys, but it was like pretty traumatizing to feel like my fridge was like a hoarder's den growing up. So like, no. I don't want an overfilled fridge of rotting food. So therefore, I'm immediately triggered by a place that sells just like so much stuff. Now, if you go there for things like, you know, paper goods, my sister-in-law got Cetaphil, like 2 things of Cetaphil cleanser for like $19. Sure, I understand. But also, where the fuck are you going to put all of it? Like, unless you live in a new build in the suburbs with like crazy closet space, or you like have a parent who you're in touch with who has like a big ass garage or basement. And let's say you like go with your mom and you're like, want to share the paper towels. I'll take half, you take half, which that sounds like a lot. That sounds like a whole ass to do, but I'm sure there are people who do it. I just don't know how people can genuinely enjoy that place. I don't. And I know it sounds snooty tooty and I'm so sorry. I understand we all have our things that we like to save and splurge on, but that shopping experience truly felt like the market in Aladdin. It was like people lunging in front of you being like, a sample, a sample. Would you like a sample? Do you want this cheese? Do you want this? And I went, whoa, whoa, whoa. I went, whoa. That's my Christopher Walken. Whoa, this is weird. It's a lot for me. It was a lot for me, okay? So I don't think I'll be going back. And also, this is bullshit. We went there for my birthday party, which we'll get to in a second. But like, I wanted to get like a bunch of shit for Jungle Juice, like big things of liquor. I wanted to get like big things of snacks, like Uncrustables and like college themed snacks, taquitos, buffalo wings, etc. So it was a good place for those. But goddamn, like I still have half a box of Totino's pizza rolls in my freezer from my party because I physically could not make all of them. And I'm like, the box was so fucking big. So I'm not a Costco girly. And I think just, as we grow and we learn more about ourselves, I think we just need to like learn who we are and accept it, not judge ourselves for it. And so as I head into my 34th year of life, I realized that I would much rather have normal quantities of items than suffer through the overstimulation of getting a deal. I can't do it. There was a point where for the Jungle Juice, I had to get like 50 kinds of juices. And I saw 2 huge, giant jugs of like cranberry juice or something. And they were attached with like a plastic thing on the top. And I went to rip one off. And Jake's like, babe, you can't do that. You have to buy them both. And I went, what? He's like, yeah, look at the sign. And it says like 2-pack cranberry juice, $7.99. And I was like, I don't like being strong-armed into buying so much shit that I do not need. And again, I'm not like I'm not like a mother of 7. Okay, I know that Costco serves a purpose. It's not my journey. It's not for me. It's not for me. And that could change, but it's not for me. Let's see. What else? Oh my gosh. The Billy Joel documentary is out. Both parts. I still haven't seen the second part because it came out on Friday and I was busy. Oh my God. Y'all know I love Billy Joel. You know I love him. You know I adore him. I think he can get it any way, any day, even now. And honestly, he's married and I'm married. But if we were both single, there's nothing to say that it couldn't work out because every person he's ever with post Christy Brinkley is like 50 years younger than him. So like if we were both single, I have a chance. I'm just saying. But Billy Joel documentary is amazing. It's amazing. And I also invite you to, if you haven't done it in a while, go ahead and listen to the song Why Should I Worry by Billy Joel from the Oliver and Company soundtrack because it goes so much fucking harder than it had to. And I posted this on Instagram, but it bears repeating. If you're going to sit here, especially as a millennial, and tell me that you did not have a crush on Dodger from Oliver and Company as a child who was voiced by Billy Joel, you are lying. You're a liar. You're such a fucking liar, Camille. Because the way Billy Joel's voice coming out of that swaggy dog who knew his way around the city, he was fearless, he was smooth talking, he was slick. And then he breaks into the best song of all time, Why Should I Worry? While he like gallivants around New York and like plays a piano with his tail. I mean, come the fuck on. That said, it's an incredible documentary. It gives so much context about him as an artist. It also like doesn't make him look good 100% of the time. And I love a documentary that shows someone that I look up to as like human and real because I think it's so easy to put artists that we love on a pedestal. But like he kind of looks like a dick at certain points. And also his first wife, Elizabeth, I knew nothing about her. She's so fucking cool. I won't talk about it for too long, but he was married to this woman, Elizabeth, who he knew from Hicksville where he grew up. And they got married when he was like pretty young. And she had like a young son at the time from a previous relationship. And she and him and her son like drove to California while he was trying to pursue a music career. And she was like instrumental in building his career because she ended up being his manager and a lot of people didn't believe in him. Hold on, quick tangent. The coolest part, something that really resonated with me as a creative person was that when he got to California, he had a really hard time like fitting in. Like people didn't understand him because all the artists out here in LA were like Joni Mitchell and James Taylor and all those like hippy dippy people who are amazing, but like very much not Billy Joel. And he felt kind of like misunderstood and angsty, and like his sound was too like harsh for the LA like market, and that people didn't understand him. And I was just thinking, it's so cool. It's so easy to compare ourselves to other people in life, whether we're creatives or not. It's so easy to be like, oh, that person's doing this thing and they're so good at it. And I wish that I could do it the way they do, or wish that people celebrated the way I do something, the way they celebrate the way that person does something. But like, I was talking to my friends about this. Imagine if like Billy Joel had tried to sound like James Taylor or Jackson Browne. He would not be Billy Joel. So I really liked that anecdote because it was just such a nice reminder to just own what you bring to the table, because it is good and it is enough. And the right people will find you if you just work hard, keep doing your thing, and you believe in it, and you stick to yourself and you stick to your guns. I thought that was so cool. But he met his wife, Elizabeth. She ended up being his manager because he kept being mismanaged. And she's like, this is bullshit. And he's like, I need a manager who like actually knows me. And she's like, well, I could do it. So she ends up managing him, and she makes like all the best choices. She manages him and the band, and they're all like wasted all the time and chaotic. And she's raising her son while she's raising this band of men. And she takes Billy Joel to the next level. And without Elizabeth, there would be no Billy Joel. And she's such a baddie, and she's so gorgeous. I would watch a whole documentary just on her, but God, it's fascinating. I highly recommend it. It's on HBO Max. Also, how nice that we can say HBO Max again. Doesn't that feel good? Feels spiritually good to me. Okay. Sydney Sweeney American Eagle ad. I have that note. I feel like already within 2 days, everyone has talked about it ad nauseum. I will say this. I think it's a big bummer. I think it's a huge disappointment because I, as an American Eagle girl growing up, I always felt like that was the more accessible brand. Like they were more affordable than Abercrombie. They were less over-sexualized than Abercrombie. They just felt a little more real than Abercrombie. And like the Aerie did all these campaigns with like real women, and we're not going to Photoshop them, and we're going to have body positivity in our brand, and we're going to have diverse models. And like they were so vocal about wanting to be good and like moral as a brand that I'm genuinely so shocked. Maybe I'm naive, but I'm just genuinely so shocked that this campaign is real. And also, like, as somebody who's worked in marketing for a while now, I'm like, who the fuck was that ad for? Like, actually, who is that ad for? Because it's so overly sexual. Sydney Sweeney is so male gazy. Like, I'm sorry. I saw a TikTok where someone who used to work for American Eagle was saying that Renee Rapp, there was murmurings that Renee Rapp was going to be in the back to school ad. And I was like, that makes sense to me because she's aspirational. She's relatable. I think American Eagle's like demographic, whether it's 20 something women or girls in high school, I think they all vibe with Renee Rapp and her messaging and her essence. That makes sense to me. Sydney Sweeney is, sure, she's pretty, but like, I just think everything she does panders so intensely to the male gaze that it's like, really? Like, I would want someone a little more relatable that I could see myself in if I were an American Eagle customer. And so I don't know how the fuck their marketing team flopped so bad. There's like that, and then the eugenics of it all, where she's like, I have good genes. My genes are blue. And I'm not going to tell you to buy. I literally, her voice is so hard to do, you guys, because it's like her vocal cords are like covered in peanut butter. And my friend Shayna said vanilla ice cream. It's literally a mix of peanut butter and vanilla ice cream, like coating your throat. She's like, I'm not going to tell you not to buy these jeans, but if you want to buy these jeans, you should buy these jeans. I'm not going to tell you they make your butt look perfect. My jeans are blue. I was like, who is this ad for? So it was a flop. I'm really disappointed in American Eagle. I used to like really, I mean, not that I partner with brands like every 5 minutes, but that was like I loved Aerie. I loved what they had to say for women. And I always thought they were a cool brand. So wild. I also saw a TikTok where it was Eric Goldie, known friend of Carol Radziwill's. Eric Goldie was doing like a happy dance, being like everyone who works for Abercrombie's PR team today, because Abercrombie now has like course corrected in a way that's like truly shocking, where they have like a curve love line and they have like flattering lighting in the dressing rooms. Like I think they're like, we fucked up so bad and traumatized so many people. Let's try and fix this now. And listen, I feel like pretty much every company has something fucked up about them behind the scenes. So, choose your fighter. But I was surprised by the Sydney Sweeney ad, and it's such a flop and it's such bad marketing. And I just think, if anything, we can all just like giggle about it together on the internet. And yes, it is representative of something scarier that's going on in our country. But if nothing else, we should be able to share a good laugh making fun of it, because everything else surrounding it is so dark and so heavy. You know what I mean? With that, let's get into my birthday recap, okay? So here was the birthday plan. As you know, I was throwing a college-themed birthday party. I've been talking about this since probably like March, so it was finally here. And last week was a little bit hectic because I had my birthday dinner with Jake on Wednesday because we had family coming to town on Thursday. His brother Mike came, and then his cousin John came. And Mike and John are both just like such a good hang, and it was so fun to have them in town. So they were getting here Thursday. So Jake and I had our birthday dinner Wednesday, and we went to Boulevard Steak in Sherman Oaks. And I love a good steakhouse. I don't go often. Steakhouses tend to be really expensive, so I do feel like they're like an occasion dinner. But I love a martini. I love an onion ring. I love a steak. I love a truffle fry or truffle butter on a steak, all the things. And so we went, and it was so fun. But in the days leading up to Wednesday, like Monday and Tuesday, I was kind of crashing out because I felt like I was like running around to like organize my life before my birthday. And this is, by the way, first world problems, but between like going to Costco to get supplies for my birthday, setting up the house so that we could host John and Mike, and then also having my own beautifying appointments of like wanting to get a spray tan, wanting to get my nails done, wanting to get my pits and vagina waxed, etc. It was a lot of running around, coupled with my day job and then, other non-day job responsibilities. Like I had a stand-up show, and obviously I want to keep up with this amazing podcast that I love doing. So there was just like a lot going on that I had to accomplish in a very short amount of time. So of course that led to a little bit of a crash out on Thursday during the day. So Mike and John got to LA like Thursday afternoon and Thursday night. And Thursday during the day, I just fully cried, fully got overwhelmed, had the birthday blues, freaked the fuck out. And I think that like something people don't talk about enough, but I'm going to talk about, you better believe I'm going to talk about it. That's my Lisa Rinna impression, is that birthdays, while I obviously love them, obviously, they're high pressure because I think of them as like a personal New Year's Eve where it's like you're reflecting on the last year of your life. You are grappling with the passage of time and getting older, which I think is loaded for everyone. For me, it's especially loaded because my mom died at 56. So every year older I get, the more I like overthink my own mortality and the mark I want to leave on this world. And I get like very existential. And so in that way, it feels kind of like New Year's Eve where you're like, what did I do in the last year? Did I make strides in my career, friendships, my romantic relationships? Like, how am I doing with my family? How do I feel about myself? Are those crow's feet I just saw? All that. Okay. And then also there's so much pressure to have fun. Also big New Year's Eve energy where it's like, the people in your life who love you are like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And if you overplan and there's no fluidity to those plans and anything goes wrong, it's easy to crash out. But then if you don't plan anything, you're like, well, that's kind of a bummer. I wish I felt more special. Why can't I allow myself to be celebrated? So striking the balance between all of those feelings is next to impossible, which is why I think we should all be comfortable going into like the days surrounding our birthdays, expecting and anticipating at least one crash out, one cry, one, like I got to a point where I was just like groaning and making like caveman sounds in my house because I was just so overwhelmed and frustrated. And then I just fully cried and I went on a walk and like sent a few voice memos to friends crying, and they were all there for me and amazing. And it ended up being great. By the time, like once Mike and John got to town, I was so back. I was fine. All the vibes were great, but I needed to have that little like emotional release of, so that I could relax that weekend. And I am not a go with the flow person. I have a really hard time, especially when it's something I've been looking forward to for a while. And I am very type A. I'm very controlling. I like things to go the way I anticipate them going. I'm not always good with a plot twist. So I was a little nervous that I was going to get upset. And in past years I have, but it was honestly like a fucking great weekend. And it was, you know what else was cool? There were times where I was like, I think a couple years ago, this thing would have gotten to me, but it didn't. And that was also really cool. I'll tell you what got to me in a little bit because it'll make you laugh. It's not that deep, but I'm trying to go in chronological order. So Thursday afternoon, Mike gets to town. Thursday night, John gets to town. We all have dinner at the house. We drink a bunch. We catch up. Super fun. Friday, what did we do Friday? Friday, I got up early. I went to the gym by myself. I got a spray tan. After that, we grabbed lunch at Patty's, which is one of our favorite places. We had a fun lunch. And then we hung out at the house. Is that what we did? Oh my God, it's all blurring together, you guys. Mind you, I was drunk pretty much the entire time. Yeah, we went to lunch. We hung out at the house. I rested a little bit while the guys like hung out in our backyard. And then that night we all went to Mexican food with Jake's sister, Abby. And then we went back to the house and we FaceTimed Jake's cousin, Jill, John's sister. And we just had like a lot of fun family time. We played games, got hammered, and it was so fucking fun. And then Saturday was my actual birthday, and I woke up to a video that Jake had made, a little like montage he had made of us together. And it was like videos of me and him and me and my friends and me and my family. And it meant so much to me. Everyone knows this, but like I love a montage. I want something that I can play at my funeral. I want something that I can show my children and be like, look, your mom was cool. She's a good hang. Look at me in my youth. I was so cute. Again, obsessed with getting old, obsessed with my own mortality. So having cute videos of me like genuinely means a lot, especially because so many of the content I get of myself is like selfies and videos of me by myself. So videos of me with the people I care about compiled into something with a cute song is like so special to me for like posterity. So that was really cool. And then, yeah, we all woke up Saturday a little hungover. I had too many margaritas at Mexican food because duh, it was my birthday eve. And there's nothing more fun than going to Mexican food. I will always say that, especially with family in town. Like the vibes were high, okay? And we laughed so much. We fucked around. We were just like idiots for days at a time. And it was so fun. And then Saturday, Mike and John had agreed to go to Orange Theory with me and Jake at 9:15. So we all wake up and we're like feeling kind of Raggedy Ann. And of all the Orange Theory workouts that could have fallen on my birthday, it was this like Celsius sponsored relay race workout that was so intense, y'all. It was so intense. It was just like nonstop cardio for an hour. And we were all like on the rower sweating. And at one point, John turned to me and he's like, I'm so fucking mad at you right now. And we were all just like goofing off and dying and complaining the whole time while we were laughing. And afterwards, we were all like, God, that felt great. That was so awesome. And then we went to mess hall and got lunch. And we got like a big, nice, hearty lunch. It was so delicious. And then we picked up the keg. We set up for the party. I got to have a little bit of like nonverbal time where I just like popped in my AirPods and tinkered around the house and cleaned up. And in past years, I felt like strapped for time for party setup. And I love party setup. I love like curating the vibe and setting up the house. And I, in past years, like have not scheduled my day properly and haven't been able to do that. So this year to be able to like take my time and do that, and also like having family hanging out with me and helping me get it done was just so silly and so fun and so meaningful. And then I watched Bethany Ever After, my annual Bethany Ever After watch of her birthday episode called Fleeing from 40, where infamously Jason Hoppy gifts her a mannequin for her birthday. And even though she tells him a million times, please do not give me attention, please do not make this a big thing in front of people, he, you guessed it, oversteps her boundaries and makes a weird speech with his weird parents in front of everyone. And then Bethany crashes out in the bathroom. And it is a great birthday tradition. It's streaming on Peacock, by the way. It's just not under Bethany Ever After. It's under Bethany Getting Married. Found that out the hard way. But season 2, Bethany Ever After, Fleeing from 40. That's the episode you want to watch on your birthday, because no matter how shitty you feel on your birthday, I promise you that episode will always bring you right back to neutral. That's why I've literally watched it on my birthday every year for 5 years, because whatever is happening, I'm always like, this could be worse. This could be fucking worse. So I watched that. I had Scary Island on in the background while I did my hair and makeup, and I got to take my time doing my hair and makeup. And I also felt very 34 because I like chugged water while I did my makeup. I was like, let's go. And then the party happened. And when I tell y'all, this might be like top 3 best birthdays of my life because the party was awesome. And when you have a themed party, you don't know how into it people are going to get, but damn, people got into this theme. All I wanted was it to feel like a millennial college house party, and that it fucking did. So for food, I did the taquitos, buffalo wings, Uncrustables, what else? French onion dip, Totino's pizza rolls. Then I had a fuck ton of Jello shots. I made jungle juice. We had a keg. I got this tapestry from Amazon that was of the note that Snooki and JWoww wrote to Sammy in Jersey Shore. That's like, Sam, when Ron was at bed, he put his face between a waitress' breasts. That was on the wall, so it made for like a great photo op wall. My friend Keith brought over a bunch of like party lights, so the inside of my house looked like a club. I turned off the lights. I had Jersey Shore on mute on the TV. We had just like red Solo cups everywhere. We had beer pong in the backyard. And then like the coolest part was that everyone just embraced the theme so much. And also I cast a wide net with my guest list because I was like, I don't know how many people are going to come. And I wanted it to feel, I feel like house parties are the most fun when they're a bit random. So I wanted it to be random. So I just told people like, yeah, bring whoever. Like if this comes up in front of someone and they say, I don't know if I'm invited to that. Yes, they are. Just bring whoever. By the time the party actually happened, it was up to like 75 people. I was like, this is going to be like as big as my wedding. And people showed up and showed out. And you know what I love? There were a lot of straight guys who got into the theme, and you never know if a straight guy is going to embrace the theme. But like I had straight guys show up wearing like their frat letters. One guy brought like gems and was like putting gems on our faces. So we all looked like Kesha. A couple of them, I had this like shitty digital camera that I got from Amazon, but like I wasn't going to take any pictures. And some of the guys just like took the camera and they were in charge of taking pictures and like totally just ran point on that. I had a friend bring me like little shooters of Malort. I had people bringing 40s and Four Locos. I had tension over beer pong. People hooked up. People made out. We laughed and cried in the bathroom. I had the best fucking time. I fell asleep on the floor while we all watched music videos in my living room. And y'all, oh, and Jake's sister Abby loves fireworks, okay? And you can't really do fireworks in LA, but she really wanted to do them. She got there late because she had to work. And Jake was like, Hannah, are you okay with her doing like smoke bombs and sparklers? I'm like, yeah, I just don't want anything that's going to like explode or like freak out our dog or people in the neighborhood, whatever. And Jake was aligned with that. But she like lit all these sparklers. She made like an H out of sparklers. And there were all these cool vibey pictures of me like with all these sparklers around me and like smoke bomb smoke. I was like, this is so and the pictures look so fucking cool. And not everything is for Instagram. Some of it is just being like, wow, that's a cool picture. And it perfectly captures how I felt in that moment. It's a cool memory. I did a keg stand, my first keg stand, and everyone was doing keg stands. Like, I just felt like everyone was feeling so horny, so drunk, so like party minded and nostalgic. And it was fucking great. It was great. And also in the previous like couple years, I've lost like a handful of friends that I was pretty close with. And I'm thinking like, I was thinking about previous years where I would have parties where I felt like really anxious or like losery and not cool and not appreciated and like panicked about if people were even going to come and if my friends coming even actually liked me, or feeling like it was more about other people than my enjoyment. And like I know not everyone's a birthday person. Obviously I am. I'm a Leo. Like I come by it honestly, but like I have never felt, I'm not going to cry. I've never felt like so loved and so appreciated and just so like embraced by people in my life. And like the fact that people were just so down to clown with me and like fuck around. And like I found people here in LA after like 7 years of living here who just like really feel like my people and really feel like aligned friendships. And like I can feel safe and be myself and fuck around and clown in the way that I want to clown, in a way where I don't feel judged or weird or misunderstood. It's so special. And that I have friends that I can like actually like have deep conversations with and rip shots with and do keg stands with. Like it's just a beautiful thing. And I'm feeling very abundant and very, very grateful and very, very lucky this year. And I will say, with all the pressure that comes with birthdays being a personal New Year's Eve, it's also really beautiful to be like, damn, like a lot can change in a year. for the better too, you know? Or you could be like, okay, an example of something I would have crashed out about in previous years was like, I really wanted everyone to watch Bethany Ever After with me because I love exposing people to Bravo who have never seen it. So like in my mind, we would have all like sat down and watched it together, but like it didn't work out that way because everyone else wanted to do their own thing. And I didn't even say anything about it because like I really didn't care. But in previous years, I probably would have been like, why doesn't anyone want to watch this with me? And so it's just nice in terms of like my friendships and my own personal growth. And I think those are interconnected. I think the people in your life reflect like where you're at with your own self-love and authenticity and self-acceptance. So to be at a place where like that all just feels good was really fucking cool. And I'm really grateful for it. And all of you who like listen and follow me on Instagram and TikTok and like commented and reached out and messaged me, like I know it sounds so cheesy, but like it really means the world to me. And I feel so lucky and so grounded in myself. And I would not feel this way without the support from people like you in my life. And so it was just really fucking great. Every birthday does have a downside though. And here's mine. I got a spray tan for my birthday at Sugared and Bronzed. And I'm sorry to put them on blast because I've not always had a bad experience there. I've had good experiences there. Problem is the last few years and for my wedding, I went to Sunkissed by Jenny in West Hollywood, which if you're ever in LA and you're looking for like truly a celebrity level, like perfect fake tan, go to Sunkissed by Jenny. It's not that much more expensive than Sugared and Bronzed, but I ended up going to Sugared and Bronzed because I didn't feel like driving to West Hollywood. I really try to avoid West Hollywood like as much as I can. So this year I went to Sugared and Bronzed because I was lazy and I had already been running around so much. And when I tell you this tan was so aggressively dark, I looked like Snooki. And my feet and my hands looked insane. And it was way too dark. And it felt like that episode of Goosebumps where the girl puts the green mask on. She's like, I can't get it off. That's how I felt with my spray tan. I felt like imprisoned by this spray tan. And thank God for the theme. It worked. But there was a point where like, I texted Jake and Mike and John being like, I'm on my way home. I look fucking crazy. Like, just heads up, I look crazy. And they're like, oh, no, it's not so bad. And then it like developed over a few hours. And John was like, holy fuck, you're dark. And I was like, I know. And I don't know what to do. So after I showered, it settled a little. It was still too dark. But that was the only downside of my birthday. And if that's the only downside, I think we did pretty good. And it was just a gorgeous day. And I'm really, really great. Gorgeous weekend. And then Sunday, early, John left. Mike was in town until Monday morning. So Sunday, we just hung out. We got breakfast. We visited Abby at work. She works at a bowling alley. So we visited her there and hung out. And then we just like watched movies on the couch and I took a nap and that was that. And the Sunday Scaries came in so fucking hot because when you have like something you've been looking forward to for so long and it goes so well, you just immediately miss it. And you're like, fuck, I don't want to go back to real life. That was so great. And also, as I said towards the beginning of the show, I do feel like I've kind of hit a limit with the like raging. And by that, I mean, after like 2 weeks of getting back into my routine, I'll be like so back. Like I can bounce back pretty fast, but now it just feels good to like be gentle and like go to bed early and like go on walks and take my ashwagandha and settle back into my routine. And summer, I've said this, it's always a chaotic time. And I always feel like I kind of lock in more like as we quote, like go back to school. So back to school time is around the corner. So I have faith that I'm going to like get back into my shit, but also like, why not just embrace that it was a fun, chaotic, stupid summer, a fun, chaotic, stupid weekend. And like, hell yeah. I'm just so grateful for it. First summer in 2 years where I wasn't planning a wedding. And I really do think I made the most of it. And I'm very, very pleased. So that was my birthday, y'all. I hope that the recap was even like a quarter as fun as it was in real life. And as I've said before, I never want this podcast to seem like a brag journal, but hopefully there were some nuggets of wisdom in there that resonated with y'all. And if not, don't tell me because it will make me sad. Okay, you might notice if you're watching on YouTube that my background is now different. That's because I had to go back and record this segment because for some fucked up, demented reason, I forgot to do grow up. But I have one ready, don't you worry. Okay, so this week's grow up is restaurants that have fries and burgers on the menu not having ketchup in-house. I was recently at like a literal like bar, a gastropub if we're going to get into semantics, but it was a bar with bar food. And it was in Culver City. And Jake and I ordered like a sandwich and some fries. And I worked in hospitality and restaurants for 10 years. So I will usually say, when I ask for a side of something, I'll say, can I get a side of insert condiment here if you have it in house, please, whenever you have a chance? So I'm at this bar. We're sitting at the bar eating our French fries, and it came with aioli on the side. Now, I love aioli. We don't need to drag aioli into this, okay? But I said to our server, can I please get a side of ketchup if you have it in house? And she goes, we actually don't. And I was like, that? And she's like, yeah, chef's just like really anti-ketchup. We just have like a few different kinds of aioli. I thought, you know what, chef? Grow up, okay? Because just because you're pretentious and you only believe in aioli doesn't mean you need to foist your aioli agenda onto normies like myself, who in that particular moment was in the mood to eat fries with a normal run-of-the-mill Heinz tomato ketchup. I just said, you know what, chef? Grow up. And I felt bad because, I wasn't like a bitch to the server or anything. I'm not a monster, but I was just like, oh, okay. Do you have like mustard? She's like, no. I was like, all good. I appreciate the transparency. No worries. But to chefs across the nation, if you don't have ketchup in house when you have burgers and fries on the menu, I'm going to need you to grow up. Okay? That's all for me, y'all. Thank you so much for listening. Next week, we have a very exciting guest, so stay tuned for that. Also, I've had people reaching out about Wellness Check Wednesday. You know me. I would love to do a Wellness Check Wednesday episode. So if you want to submit something for Wellness Check Wednesday, email the podcast. That's notaspirationalpod@gmail.com. That email address is also in the show notes for you. If you're loving the podcast, leave it a rating and a review. Send it to a friend. Share it to your story. Everything helps. Leave me a comment on Spotify or YouTube. I love you all. Thank you so much for listening. Happy Leo season, and I will see you soon. Bye.